Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the next of our matches, and it will take place in the men's middleweight division on the right arm with the USA versus Ukraine. Let's welcome our athletes now to the table. The first of these men hails from the United States of America. He is the rising force from the US and a popular figure here at East versus West. Please give a round of applause and welcome the White Orc, Mr. Paul Lee.
And here he comes, ladies and gentlemen, the rising star from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Mr. Paul Linn, 41 years old, sporting those 19-inch biceps, weighing in at a very athletic 209. Ingen Terzi made a comment that Paul Linn had his shirt off and he did not like being in the room.
His opponent is representing and hails from the great arm wrestling nation of Ukraine. This man is one of the most decorated arm wrestlers in the history of the sport, and is a multiple Ukrainian national champion, EAF champion, and WAF champion of the world. Welcome, Rustam Babayev.
Ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake about it, one of the very few legends of the sport of arm wrestling, Rustam Babayev, hailing from the Ukraine, 40 years old, and I'm telling you, I've seen this guy arm wrestle for at least 37 years, which, if my calculations are correct, he won his first world championships at 3 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Rustam Babayev, 18-inch, 19-inch biceps there. And listen, you're going to see a guy that every United States puller that has ever been anywhere close to the same weight as Rustam Babayev has saw his hand hit that pad very quickly, and you can run all through them. Every John Berzink, you can talk about Todd Hutchings, the legend Todd Hutchings, never quite able to stop the vicious inside hit of Rustam Babayev. We haven't seen him now. 2 or 3 years he's been in a short little downspout hiatus from the sport of arm wrestling. Is that enough for this rising star from the United States to do something that no one, unless you live in the state of Pennsylvania, do you think that Paul Linn has even a shot at Rustam Babayev? But you can see how curled up Paul Linn is. One thing about Paul Linn, coming from an American football background, he understands exactly what's needed, the monumental effort that it will take to put the brakes on Rustam Babayev. Watch for the hit from Babayev. If we can just get this match started, ladies and gentlemen, Fusion, Jaguar, all the guys in the Haynesville Shell are about to go crazy if Paul Linn can stop this match.
Yep. Knuckle.
Oiled hard. Back pressure going to be applied explosively into the hand of the smaller man, Babayev. Rustam trying to time this. He's been away from the table. As I reached the top of the stairs there, Travis, 2 questions jumped into my mind. 1, do we have any defibrillator?
Yes.
And 2, who the hell is going to win this match?
I believe wholeheartedly one more person needs to be added to the staff. The person who has that elevator ready for you, up and down each time before, because you can't wait on the elevator, I understand, but I don't know how many more trips you have, Neil.
It's been a hard night, but it's worth it. Paul Linn, Rustam Babayev, legendary match potential right here. Do not blink. Explosivity from both men is a weapon.
Babayev looks a little uncomfortable. Let's go, Paul Linn.
I'm trying. It looks like he's hanging on to Paul a little.
You have 1 warning. Yeah, I'm trying to rotate out.
A warning on Paul Linn. Paul Linn is going to take everything he can in there, and who could blame him? So Paul Linn's condition is unbelievable.
You're talking about a professional athlete there in every way, mentally, thinking about his confidence, the preparation. Dude's traveling the practice. Here we go. Paul Linn, the United States is waiting. Ooh.
I'll tell you what.
All star был.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ernie Thompson, Tommy Ray, you both told me that CNC was willing to back Paul Linn here against Rustam Babayev. I'm telling you now, when I left that office, I looked at Ernie and said, I think Tommy's out of his mind if he thinks he can stop Rustam. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Linn just put the brakes on early in round one. Get on your feet, USA. All the positive thoughts right here.
Be ready. Underway we go. Whoa, 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 sweet child of mine. Little jump there from Paul Linn. He's taking a foul. Yep. Already on the warning. Gets the foul there. Travis can't contain his excitement. This thing is starting to bristle. And what was evident there is that Paul Linn was certainly equal to that first hit. He was certainly able to hang there. It's the second drive from Rustam that we know he has, which will be interesting. And will the leverage work for him? We're about to find out. Be ready, and away we go! Opener! Rustam Babayev. That short lever, the drive to the side. The man from Ukraine may have a little more grey hairs on the head, a little bit more years on the clock, but he's got a lot of power. Let's look at that again. Drives to the side, sets that hook. Big punch to the side, the containment there. Paul couldn't have been positioned any better, but it was just a smooth drive to the side from Rustam Babayev.
You say smooth, but I feel like that there was a lot of resistance there.
There
I don't
was.
think Paul got a great start. That's something for Paul to build on. Right now, you know, even though that you're the same age, you're the younger man when it comes to all the road, all the wear and tear on that right arm of Rustam Babayev. Let's go, Paul Linn. You're still in this match. Look at those bums over there trying to coach Paul Linn. I should be down there right now, Neil.
Travis, they probably do miss you. Right now, looking at that, off the first start, the difference was the separation arm to lat. If you looked at the elbow to the lat, there was a big, big difference. As Rustam started to accelerate, we saw Paul unable to keep that shape, unable to keep the connection to his back. He needs an angle change. He needs to try to get the palm to be turned up to get the defensive position for Rustam. Rustam, moving hard to the side, managed to get Paul's palm to the ceiling a little bit there, to expose him, to open him off his lat, and from there, the leverage is working in the favor of the Ukrainian. Change required from Paul Linn. What else does he have in his arsenal here?
Well, here's the problem, right? It's a 3-rounder, right? You're down 1-0. If you go into this second round with some technique change and it doesn't work, then you got to gather, you got to dig deep in your heart. I say, if I'm there, I'm telling Paul Linn, you've done everything perfect. You just must go crazy. Go harder, young man. Every single thing that you got. And listen, let's be honest, the first 2 connections before Paul received that foul for the double warning, Rustam seemed a little more uncomfortable. Maybe Paul let off just a little so that he didn't receive that second foul. But I think he's got to stay aggressive.
He was lining up his body to try and peel open the hand and wrist of Rustam. And it's a mistake we've seen a lot of people throughout Rustam's career make. They perceive that because he's got quite a small hand that will be the weakness. It is not. He connects so well and contains so well. He's just so rigid, so robust there. The integrity of the hand and wrist is second to none. He's made his career
Paul looks a lot different right now. There is no twisting and grinding up in the middle of it. Looks like he's definitely doing something else.
He's set to try and be a little bit more based, but it didn't do him any favors there. He was static, didn't drive at all. And it's 2-0, and it's quite smooth for Rustam.
Very extremely disappointing. And looking at the replay here, you can see Paul Linn, when he first got to the table, had that shoulder an inch from his hand. Now he looks like he's 8 inches away, just opening right up. Oh, my
Look at the hit, though, mate. The difference is there, he's still reliant on being able to peel open the hand of Rustam. It's not going to happen. Look how far Rustam's lower palm is driven forward into that match. And when he connects, even halfway, there is not an ounce of give in that wrist. It's rock solid.
There are a couple guys on this earth that are under 200 pounds that everyone knows could easily be the GOAT if John Brzenk was not alive. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at one of them right now. In the history of arm wrestling, very few men are as decorated as Rustam Babayev.
For every force, there is an equal and opposite force. Men who have had success, better levels of success with Rustam Babayev, have managed to meet him in the middle, put the brakes on, and outlast him in the hook. That has been the story. History doesn't lie, and we've seen it a number of times. Hajimurat Zolev, Yevgeny Prudnik have had that degree of success at the same weight class as Rustam Babayev. Running away from this guy is almost impossible. It can be done, but very, very few men have done it.
The easiest thing for any of us to look and see is to tell Paul to come forward and meet him in the middle with a higher hand and wrist. However, really easy for us to say that. A whole nother thing to be standing, being connected to this absolute stud here and not trying to outside move him. It's just not happening. The guy's got too much contained. He's just too much of a veteran. Now, I begged Paul Linn, if he got in this position, to stand up and come forward, young man, right in a hook. He looks like he's leaning a little bit that way.
He is.
Come on, Paul Linn. Show us what's up.
He's going to try and meet him, and it's a good idea. We know he's come conditioned. Can he outlast? Can he get himself into the match? This is a better shape for him. Drives in there much better, and he's done some damage there. And wow, potential turning point. Look at the face of Babayev. Something may have just gone bump in the night. And oh my word, we may be on the precipice of some drama. Paul Linn has been walking around the place today. We've just been calling for it. Meet him head on.
It's not even drama.
Finish.
This is over.
Отрыв.
We may have a serious injury here.
That right pec is no longer attached to Rustam Babayev's
давно
right
не
shoulder.
выступал.
I can tell you now, this match is over.
My God, the drama we have seen tonight here. Paul Linn goes over. That's not the way he wanted to win. But when he tested the frame against Babayev, it was equal to it. We knew the condition he'd come in. He was in ridiculous shape. There's not many men harder than Paul Linn, and most of them are statues. The guy is absolutely crafted when he showed up today, and he got the confidence in the last round to go to something different and talk about payoff.
No doubt. And here's the deal. Like, you look at this match, and it's going to be easy to think that Rustam Babayev hurt his arm trying to pin Paul Linn, when the reality is Paul Linn was not moving from center there. An absolute stone wall met there in the hook, and it was a little too much for Rustam Babayev. There's the replay. The slow hook, just Paul Linn coming forward here. Look at the shaking right here on the red line as hard as he can. Oh, that was early that was round one. We see that was not a bad stop. Gotcha. Now we're into round two, the second start here. Not a bad job, just kind of knocking that elbow off Sarge, that surging side pressure. Remember, early in the rounds, you saw Paul Linn running back, trying to compromise the hand and wrist of Rustam, and there's just too much side pressure there. Paul Linn was instructed by the great Travis Bajan, listen, don't leave here running all three matches. When you get the opportunity, you stand tall, you come forward, and you make this about heart and soul. Paul Linn's the bigger man here. What an outstanding job to put that pressure. And listen, injury or not, Paul Linn figured something out in round three. And you saw that bicep tendon tick, 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 and it was evident to Rustam that there was a problem. My goodness, what an absolute beast. Paul Linn telling the crowd right afterwards, he looks right down, I think, at Michael Todd or Tim. He says, am I awake now?
Ladies and gentlemen, in a dramatic matchup which swung backwards and forwards, we find ourselves with a new middleweight champion of the world, the White Hawk, Mr. Paul Linn.
Paul, congratulations on the performance. That was one of the coldest way I've seen everybody turn the match around. But I'm seeing in your face that you have different feelings about it. Tell me what's going on in your head right now.
I mean, this is not the way that you want to win any sort of title, especially against a legend like that. I'm half heartbroken. I'm just honored to be able to compete against, just be on the table with Rustam. And it breaks my heart that the match ended that way. So I have a hard time accepting this helmet and shield under these current circumstances.
Well, we appreciate your honor in that, Paul. It's a lot to be said in it. Besides the tragic injury, can you tell me what was going on through your head in your second match?
Well, I mean, plan A and plan B didn't work because Rustam's cup and supination was just too much. Couldn't keep him flat. But I did feel like I was close to getting a stop at one point, but he's unbelievably strong. So the third round, it was full commit into a hook.
Is that what you did in the third round? You just abandoned all your top roll waist and went for the inside?
Yeah, everybody in my corner said, full commit, just go in there. So that's what I did.
Well, and that what happens, but unfortunately it ended up with Rustam having an injury. But Paul, congratulations one more time on your title. I know it's hard to accept it, but hopefully for the next future you'll be less aggressive with your opponents.
Hey, Lincoln, buddy, if you're watching, I love you. Be home soon.
Thank you, Paul. Good luck in your next matches.